Thomas, should I quickly get you to the weekly check-ins? Or do you have a link to the agenda page?
Just
I
FYI,
have a link
that's
to the
already
agenda page. I am on the agenda page. I'm not sure what you mean.
The agenda page for today, or am I? Ah, no, it's I'm on the correct page, but you're not listed there.
Thomas is listed there. Everything's fine.
Now I see it. I just was blind. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Nice that we speak English for the recording. Just so that no one gets confused.
Of course.
Hey, good morning, Sebastian. Still a pretty small round.
Yeah, looks like this.
We'll just give it a couple more minutes. Still missing quite a few people. AMR.
Hey.
All right, in the interest of time, we can go ahead and get started with our weekly check-ins. I do just want to let everyone know we're having rolling blackouts here in Austin. So if I happen to drop from the call, it's because I lost power. I'm hoping that won't happen, but just a heads up. We'll go ahead and get started with the weekly check-ins. Amar, I did add a PTL update check-in if at the top, if you have anything that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. So I just had a couple of things that I wanted to quickly cover. And since I'm just going to try to get more organized going forward, but so I'll just maintain like a running sort of a slide deck. So it's saved for posterity, but I'll just start by sharing this week's, and then Kendall, I can it's publicly shared, so I can send you the link as well. So there's not too much, but I just wanted to make sure I'm more structured about it. So yeah, so I think the main thing, sorry, can folks hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I think the main thing that I wanted to just set some context today. So what is it that I've been discussing with Arpit and the LF is that as the PTL, we're just going to try. I'm just going to try to corral the roadmap as well as help through the transition while Facebook is pulling out. So as part of this, there are two effectively goals that we kind of sort of agreed on. So the first one is to publish an aggregated roadmap for the MCF efforts. This is already underway. I think the main thing here that we had to do was clean up the items that were not tracked, that were contingent on grant funding, and remove that, or at least move it to hold, and then add any new items that we identify. The implicit thing that happened as part of this is I met with all the teams on the ecosystem side just to create a small sort of table to understand where their investments are and where they can help out with the ecosystem. This is shared on the link here, but I can share the deck and folks can look at it and comment. So the second one is to identify at least one key initiative that can be sustained through the FB transition. And I think the current leading proposal right now is the Marken Gateway effort. There's again a link design doc, and thanks a lot, Joey and Bicels for helping out with that. So I'll also create a proposal around that and then convert it to a GitHub discussion. So the three companies that are primarily involved is FreedomFi, that's probably going to be taking the lead on it, Bicels, and Highway 9. And this is for a Marken Gateway capability. So I'll just pause here and see if folks have any questions. Okay.
I just want to throw out, this is Joey from Freedom. I just want to throw out that over the next few days, I plan to do some additions to the doc, plus clean up the floor matting and readability and beautification of it. So just he heads up that it's in flux.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Maybe I can just put a.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah, so for folks who are not familiar with Marken Gateway, so the doc basically describes some of it, but the idea here is that it's a eNodeB, it's a virtual eNodeB, and it aggregates a bunch of S1 connections that are coming from the radio towards traditional core operators. So, the primary motivator for this is threefold. So the first one is that carriers don't want to have thousands of S1s coming into the operator core. The second one is if we want to introduce a new radio, there's a lot more qualification that needs to happen to integrate with the operator core, and adding this layer of abstraction sort of insulates folks from that. And then the third one is that the Marken Gateway can be managed by a entity like FreedomFi or Highway 9, and they in turn have the agreements with the enterprises or the end users who are actually deploying the eNodeB. And so the operator themselves don't need to care about the end eNodeB operator, like the mobile core operator doesn't need to care about the end eNodeB operator. So the other interesting thing is that since this is not a core, this can also help us circumvent the 5G licensing issues that we've been having with the OAI team. So the OAI team would be also collaborating with the MCF side on the 5G implementation of this Marken Gateway.
I have a question.
Yep.
I wonder who owns the security aspects and whether I can help coordinate that. It seems like there's probably some project management that would help across the org.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just move this to a GitHub issue, and there is some early stuff on like IPsec tunneling and stuff that needs to that Joey sort of added. But yeah, there's a lot more that we need to do with, especially because there's a security gateway in the picture, and so I think this was what Bicel's added, right? Is that right, Joey?
Yeah, they added this sniffix, and I added the box that said we should have a security gateway.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen to flush this out. So at this point in time, it's a mix of requirements and solutioning, and we just need to like decouple the two and evolve it. Like, so we were just collecting everyone's thoughts in this proposal at this point.
Is there a TPM who's managing it all, or are you kind of running point?
So we have an opening out for a TPM rec at this point, but other than us trying to hire someone right now, it's just crowdsourced. Yeah,
cool.
so we'll structure
I'll
it.
talk to Kendall later.
Okay, yeah, no thanks.
So Amar, is there a plan to put this in release 1.9?
I don't know if we can get it done in that timeline. So I think the goal for us is to try and understand the scope of work by the end of the month, at least for the 4G side, and then keep the 5G side open, and then try to figure out a roadmap.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, like Joey is gonna clean this up a little bit. I'll create a GitHub issue to track that. So the second update, since I got a lot of questions on this, is around, okay, what's going on with 5G SA? So I think the reality with 5G SA is that a lot of the companies in our ecosystem have interests in 5G SA, but there is not enough like near-term resourcing outside Wave Labs. So if there's any help that folks want to offer around this effort in the near term, that would be much appreciated. But Kader and team are going to take the lead on trying to figure out what is it that they can commit to on the 5G SA side. And I think the primary thing there is going to be around hardening as opposed to adding any new capabilities. All right, any questions? Cool, thanks. So I think one other ask I had, and I think Shruti mentioned that in the channel as well, is to try and understand the TNG roadmap as well as the Radisys one. So we can sort of collate all of these into 1.9 and whatever else. And maybe we can bring it up in the next TSC meeting or whenever folks are ready.
Yeah, we will prepare something for that, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, that's all I had, Kendall.
Thanks, Amar. We'll go to release updates from Govind or Daljit.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Can you see my share?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the last week meeting notes. Regarding the 1.8 release readiness and the blockers. The current blocker is Magma CA stability, and the TNG team have solved several issues. And only one open pending item is to fix the LT integration test. Currently, one of the tests is failing and appearing as red in the Magma CA dashboard. Ankit is helping TNG team to fix this. So otherwise, Magma CA is stable as per TNG team. And Wavelabs 5G test status is also green. That's based on their internal CI report. And regarding the, we are coming up with a build job in the Magma CI for ARM. Tim is working on that. Hopefully he will get it done in another 1 or 2 weeks. There are a couple of PRs that needs to be merged by Wavelabs. That is still pending from Wavelabs side. And Wavelabs team is also doing a test with containerized AGW with the latest set of changes that they made in the OVS. That is also work in progress. So, we also need to create a new CA job to host the AGW Docker image in Magma Artifactory. Tim is working on creating a new CA job. We haven't gotten any update for this. The next one is post 1.8 release branch. So this is with Tim, so it's not applicable for now. And there is a security issue that is spotted out with AMI, and Shubham is working on that. He's still figuring out how to address the security issues. So currently, we don't have a timeline when this will be fixed. Hopefully, Shubham.
Yeah, Govind, I can just give quick update. So the access gateway AMI was built successfully, and now me and Lucas are working on the security part. If we are talking to AWS like team, if this can be published or not, if the security issue is resolved. If not, then we have to just take the code which I've built and just create a new AMI with the fresh like base Ubuntu AMI. We just have to change that. Otherwise, the AMI is working right now. I've tested it.
Okay, so this is more that you're saying?
Yes, so building is done. Testing and security guidelines are still pending.
Okay.
Let me call out that as far as the deadline goes, that that's a blocker for going to market in the AMI marketplace, since obviously having an AMI is a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I will delete this. This is not a blocker item for 1.8 release anymore.
Yeah, you can do it.
And the next one is Wavelabs team observed some failures with 1.6 release itself when they were trying to use the AGW deployment script. But with Ansible 5, this issue got resolved. And regarding the documentation, Wavelabs have started submitting documentation PRs. And I have also submitted a PR for ARM with the steps to build the AGW Docker image on ARM architecture. And running the containerized AGW steps remain same for both x86 and ARM. So that work is done. So last week, Joey jumped in and said he needs to add a domain proxy feature to be included in 1.8 release. So hopefully that will go in before the branch, which might happen in another 2 weeks tentatively. So that's all the CI release update. Wavelabs team, please share.
Yeah. Yes. So Govind, can you go? So there were 2 PRs, I think. One of the PR got merged. Now there is only one PR which we are waiting. I think we had a discussion last week in the 1.8 release meeting. So Max, we have created the Debian package. We have done some basic sanity. I will share you that PR detail. I think I have updated here as well. So the docs PR is 13171 and the Debian package is in 13260. The above one, yeah. So Max, with this, can we anything else required from our side for the OVS part?
Yeah, we can sync asynchronously via Slack and
Sure.
just decide how to push that.
Sure.
Debian
Yeah, I
package
think
repository.
yes. So I think the only thing which was pending was the update of OVS, right? So I think we are using the ones which was already there. So yeah, we can sync offline. But yeah, this is the last leg, and once this is done and stable, then ideally we will be good for 1.8.
The update is still missing, so the Debian package is the old version, or
So the OVS version is 2.15.4. I think right now the default is 2.14.3. With the one which is attached in 13260, it is with our latest change, and it is 2.15.4.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, TNG team or Labs team? Okay. Thank you. That's all from the release regarding the release.
Thank you. Next, DevOps updates, Shubham.
Yeah, so DevOps are like mostly same updates which Govind has given. Like Tim is working on the ARM CI, and I was figuring out the AWS Access Gateway AMI, and that's in process. Build is complete. Now we're testing it. Yeah, that's it for DevOps.
Thanks, Shubham. Testing. Are there any testing updates? Right. Then outreach. Shubham, was there anything that we wanted to add from the outreach meeting?
Yeah, so this month we have an open Infra Asia Days event, and I'm one of the speakers there, so I have to just submit a video before 15th. And on 23rd of July, the event will happen, the full day event. So Magma 101 is our topic, and I have to present that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Shubham. Okay, next, Lucas, security update.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen. I have a bunch of small items. First of all, there's a roadmap goal of improving the SBOM, which was previously generated manually and stored in source control. We wanted to generate it in the CI as opposed to doing it manually, and we wanted to extend the reach outside of NPM. This is basically done now as a result of work to enable the security tool in the LFX console. There's a lot of information in there. It uses SNCC. You probably will need to ask for access, so coordinate with me, and I'll help get that to you. It's a feature rich. There's one missing feature in there, which is the ability to download a file like a SPDX file or a CycloneDX file. But there's a lot of value in that. So basically this roadmap item is pretty much done. Before I move on, does anybody want to ask questions about that? Okay. Next, Aswin has suggested an idea that I think is quite good to create documentation on how to deploy Magma securely. And this is kind of on the line of what belongs in software in the SDLC and what falls after. I'd welcome contributions by everybody. There's a lot of knowledge about how to do this. And you'll start seeing evidence of this happening. I don't intend it for it to be a big thing, but rather something that we kind of slowly grow out. Any thoughts on that before I move on?
Yeah, are we planning to use some firewalls for making it more secure?
I think that that's a deployment decision, and we should suggest it and provide any documentation we can on how to do that.
Yeah, because I have a deployment for Orchestrator where I only open, I think, 5 or 6 ports, because that's all what we need for the deployment and regular communication. So that can be used as one of the documents if someone wants to make it more secure deployment.
I will provide a link to this issue in chat, and if you post that idea there, it would be absolutely welcome.
Okay.
Perfect.
Nice.
Next, we had a conversation about this non-security issue over in Slack, and it should move into the TSC. I noticed that it was a trivial update, started it, it turned out to be more complicated, but I just want to call out that this is really a TSC conversation. Does anybody want to talk about it, or should we just move on? Okay, crickets is the answer, and it speaks volumes. Lastly, I've been reviewing Dependabot alerts to see what is easy to close. There are 3 items. This one involves a bump that is very easy to do, but needs to be tested. And so this goes to the question of, as Sebastian said, testing updates to Python dependencies. And I wonder where that stands and how we want to coordinate on testing these trivial upgrades.
So we've had a lot of issues recently with this build system, especially with the PyDev thing. That has led to several bugs that the production build was just broken and people didn't really notice because it wasn't being tested. And yeah, we're in contact with Tim about several things regarding the build process and actively looking into making it easier, which should also make it easier to test. And at the same time, well, it's something that I wanted to talk about later anyway. So Marco is working on automating integration tests, not of the dev environment, but of the build Debian packages. And if we have that in the CI, we could be much more confident about these trivial upgrades. So this situation is hopefully going to improve in the next few weeks.
You have a ticket that I should be following, or how would you, manage this upgrade in a responsible way?
So if I wanted to do the upgrade right now without any of the improvements, I would run a release script. So using the fab release process to create the Debian packages, and then install them myself on a VM and see if the services are still running fine. So that's quite a bit of manual work at the moment.
Yeah. I guess I'll ping you in Slack and let's coordinate what the next steps are for all of that Python stuff. Is that the right thing?
Yes, we can do
that. But apart from that, that one ticket could use an approval, given that it's super trivial. Here's another similar item. This is a trivial update created by Dependabot that'll close some alerts. And I wanted to let people know that the status of this alert is that we are waiting on a third-party package to be updated. Keep an eye out, and you can expect this to be closed. That's it for me. Thanks for all this time.
Thanks, Lucas. Right. Next, C++ migration, Rashmi. Rashmi, are you there?
Rashmi, we can't hear you. I see you are online.
Hello, am I audible?
There you are. Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, as part of CPP migration, we have converted the hash list to map for S1AP module. It is review, coding and testing is done, review is under progress. And as part of MMA application and NAS, there was a huge dependency between the MMA app and NAS files. So again, we discussed internally and with Shruti also, we thought like we'll take up the files like not very huge, like not more than some folders as such. So again, we are replanning on that one. So it is exceeding the plan. So, and as part of the SP gateway task, we have converted all the C files to CPP, and that review is under progress. And for S1AP module, we started working on like converting the C structures to protobuf structures. And I have placed the plan. I can share my screen.
Rashmi, you still there? We can't hear you if you're talking.
She's on mute.
Rashmi, you're muted if you're talking.
Once. Am I audible now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, somehow it was not working. I'm not sure whether my complete update was audible to you.
No, when you shared your screen, we were not able to hear.
Yeah, we have updated all our tasks to here with the complete list of the work items and and how much effort it is taking, and along with the status.
That's nice. And just to add on that, I think Radisys team is also putting their updates on the community partners section on Confluence, so their weekly updates are visible there.
Okay, anything else from the C++ migration?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Next, we go to the Basel effort, Nils.
Yeah, hello everybody. Not much to report because in the last week we had a couple of vacations in the team. The main points we worked on were optimizing the remote caches on AWS, and we already seen that the current costs are going down. The other big part we are working on is creating Magma Debian package with Bazel. For this, we are trying to understand the build process. So we are working together with the parts that Sebastian was reporting about. And for the Debian package, we are currently missing a testing environment. So we are also supported in creating the prod environment for running the LT integration test versus Magma Debian package, but this is still ongoing. Yeah, that's it from Bazel. Before we move over to NMS, Sebastian, you still had something open for better engineering?
Right. So yeah, you already mentioned the test of the production environment. So we've been working a bit more on the VMs. We're also trying to prepare a new pre-burn image of the Magma Dev VM. It hasn't been done for a year, and there are a lot of steps that should be pre-burned, but that are executed as full provision at the moment. And once that is done, we'll probably also look into the issue of the traffic gen. I think it's the main VM that's still running on Debian, and it also led to a bug recently and should also run on Ubuntu as all other VMs. So we'll probably check that issue. And that's it from my side.
Thank you.
Then I guess I'll
Let's
take
see.
over.
Yep, go for it, Thomas.
All right, so I'll share my screen. So the NMS has been fully migrated to TypeScript now, as you can see here. We dropped all flow support, and it's probably now a good time to talk about why we actually did that. So this here are the NPM statistics for downloads of Flow and TypeScript. As you can see here, TypeScript has a much larger user base. Similar picture from the State of JS survey from last year. So this is asking people what languages that are compiled to JavaScript they use, and most of the people use TypeScript, and there's only a small fraction of people that use Flow. So with this much larger user base comes also a lot better support for third-party types. So this is Flow typed, where all the third-party Flow types are maintained, and this is definitively typed, where all the TypeScript types live. And this is, I think, roughly 900 or so types for external libraries, but this is version, so a lot of these libraries have like several entries for different versions. This is unversioned, so the versions are done on NPM, and this is too big for GitHub, so it's like 8,000 different libraries, so at least one order of magnitude more third-party types. And I mean, if you look at the dates here, or if you zoom in to something that we actually use, like here, Material UI, this is 3 years old. This is the newest type that's available. It's for version 1. So right now, version 5 is what's used. So how this was then done for the NMS was that we used this type here and we patched it so that it would fit to the types that we have. So we had to kind of maintain those types ourselves. With TypeScript, this is definitively typed. It's not the full story, because most of the packages these days actually come pre-bundled with types or are written in TypeScript in the first place. So this is out of our dependencies, all the packages that are bundled with TypeScript types. So where we don't even have to fall back to like something definitively typed, which also means that we will get always the latest types, and they will always automatically be in sync. Another aspect here is that the TypeScript types are installed with NPM. So it's the same tooling and the same dependency upgrade mechanism. So whereas in Flow, you would need an external tool, and it looks a bit to me like this has been neglected for a while. So some of the things were never updated really. So this will become a lot easier with TypeScript. And then another sort of minor things of Flow, it seems to be a lot easier to fall back to an implicit any type where you lose all typing without noticing it. So you don't have to go into details of the code here, but this is like this exact same code snippet with the strictest possible settings, and Flow just doesn't recognize that there is a bug here where you will see that bug in TypeScript. And when we did the migration, we found a few places where there have been issues with our types that we have fixed. And also, if you looked at the linter for NMS, you saw that there are like 100 or so warnings about types, and all those are gone now. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Thanks,
Are there
Thomas.
any questions?
All right. The next data path, I don't see Nick on the call, but Yogesh, do you have any updates?
No, Kendall, no other updates. Yep.
Okay. No worries. Roadmap update. I have tagged Max in this now. I should have said this at the beginning, but Max is now our new TSC chair, taking over for Shruti. So I hope everyone gives him a warm congratulations. So he will be kind of taking over the roadmap plan with the TSC. So any update there, Max or Joey or anyone?
The best thing with that is that I did not yet have the handoff meeting with Shruti, so I would still defer for today to her for giving the roadmap updates. But coming forward, I will take that.
Great. Shruti, anything?
Sure, thanks, Max. So I think we went through a few items on the roadmap through all the other check-ins. I think the highlights are 1.8 is on track, the Mokan initiative, and other updates on the other work streams. So that's good to see. Thank you all who have added more details on the roadmap itself. I think nothing specific to add from my side. Let's continue the effort, and hopefully Max would be able to lead this effort going forward.
Great. Anything else to add for the roadmap update?
Joey, did you have anything other specific on the deployer feedback? I know Amar is also covering that.
Yeah, the only comment I have is I did the requested cleanup of moving the deprioritized work to the bottom in a section I just called on hold, and then adding in more details on the items that Freedom is working on. And you guys discussed at the top of the call the proposal on the Mokan Gateway is coming, and when it exists, I will add links in the roadmap table.
That would be useful, right? And I think as we are closing on the 1.8 release, it would be good for the community to come up with a 1.9 lead. So that's something we should think about as we are tagging features and milestones for release 1.9. It would be a good place for a few other companies to volunteer, and we can all learn from the experience Govind and the ARM team and Wavelabs team have had in this release.
Sure, Shruti.
As far as the security roadmap updates go, we should mark the SBOM items complete.
Lucas, you can go ahead and edit that page.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
That's all, Kendall.
Great, thank you, Shruti. Great, that ends the weekly check-in. So next we'll go to a topic from Max, repurpose or archive the community repo.
Yeah, the recent community documentation and onboarding call, we discussed that community repository that is contains seemingly just duplicate information that is largely outdated or that was moved or migrated to the GitHub wiki or to other wikis. And the ask is, or the question is, does anything speak against archiving or removing or repurposing this repository? Especially since we also have a governance repository that contains other parts, so it's very redundant and outdated. And yeah.
I'm all for reducing number of repositories.
Mhm.
I think it's also worth checking why do we have a separate governance and community, and it would be like, should we keep one over the other? Community is a superset of governance, so I don't know if LF has any guidelines for us, Kendall.
So there's a separate governance repo as well?
Yes, but it's
Okay.
I think marked as draft, or it contain it's the README just states that it is a draft or that it contains drafts. But it the governance repository, the documents in there are not duplicated somewhere else. But it contains a charter and stuff.
Gotcha.
And we have
I
also have content on Confluence, so I think it would be good to just have one place, one source of truth for governance and community.
Yeah, I think that's fine if we want to get rid of the repo. We just need to make sure that like the code of conduct and license information and whatever else just transfers over to the wiki.
Yeah, it should all be redundant, so it might not even be necessary to remove it.
Okay.
Since the repository itself, the main repository, contains all the license information. Okay.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Do people feel we need to vote on this? Nope.
Does not feel like that.
Okay. Let me know if you need my help with any of that.
I think deletion or modification of the repository will need your help.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Perfect. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have Kendall Nelson here from the Open Infrastructure Foundation. She's here to talk about the project team's gathering, and they are inviting Magma to be a part of this event. And so she's here to just let everyone know about the event and how Magma can be involved, and to kind of gauge interest to see if the Magma TSC or community members are interested in attending. So take it away, Kendall.
Oh man. So Kendall and I obviously used to work together at the Open Infrastructure Foundation. So we were the Kendalls on email that we would send out together. But yeah, so we both used to work on this project team gathering. Effectively, it's it like provides a physical space for technical teams such as Magma and OpenStack and Sterling X and all kinds of other projects to gather face to face and have technical sorts of discussions and kind of roadmap planning in person. So it's like really low lift as far as like planning. You can do as much or as little planning as you're interested in, but we could provide space for you guys to get together and you know, work on any particular problem, pull requests that you are having issues making progress on, and the like. We try to co-locate them, so there's like a little bit of cross mingling between various open infrastructure projects and other open source projects in general. We're talking to Ceph and trying to get them to attend. Obviously not a whole lot of overlap with you all, but just as an example. So we're trying to build out past just open infrastructure projects, but I know Max was around at the summit that just happened, and so he can vouch for the kind of like vibes and like productivity and hype and excitement of having everybody in person and being able to talk face to face again. And the PTG is a lot like that. It's just much more technical than something like the summit that's more about promoting the accomplishments of your project and how it's being used and this and that. So the project team gathering is a lot more detailed technical event. And this will be our first in-person one. It's in Columbus, Ohio, the week before KubeCon. So if you're going to KubeCon, Cloud Native Con, they're actually like a 3-hour drive from each other. They're really close together. We were joking about setting up a bus to drive from one to the other, but yeah. We would love to have you attend. we're also working on reaching out to the Kubernetes steering committee and getting them involved, because we've been slowly building a relationship between them and the OpenStack technical committee. So it's the Kubernetes steering committee and OpenStack technical committee sharing knowledge and stuff about building large communities at scale, and the sort of like process issues and getting past that hype curve issue sort of conversations too. So it can be more higher level, it can be more technical details, whatever you choose to do there. Yeah.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of Kendall, it's dedicated space for the project. So if it is something that Magma would be interested in attending, and then we actually would have people attend to, get together and work, then we do need to let them know so they can make sure to reserve the space for us. And the space does not cost the project any extra money. You would just need to travel there, obviously, and register. So we would just need to, I don't know when's the deadline, Kendall, that they need to decide.
So I have the deadline for the team signing up August 12th. I think sometime in August is also when early bird registration ends. So right now it's like 50% of what it will end up being closer to the event. So the sooner you guys decide and get registered, like the more money that you'll save total. But yeah, it doesn't cost any money for the project to participate. It's just registration and travel to get there. And registration is way less than a lot of events too.
Yeah, and depending on how many of like the TSC members or other community members, we could potentially talk about using some of the marketing funds to pay for the tickets potentially, if we do have enough people wanting to attend and meet. We just really need to gauge interest on if anyone would be interested in actually meeting and getting together to do technical work.
Does anybody have questions?
When is the event?
So it is October 17th through 20th. So it's the Monday through Thursday, right before KubeCon and Cloud Native Con.
Okay.
I can post some links in the Zoom too. Oh, Max already got the main PTG website way ahead of me. Awesome.
Yeah, and we don't need to make a decision today, but I wanted Kendall to come in here and talk about the event and let everyone know what it is, just so you have a feel for it. And you can take it back to your teams and discuss if this is something that we would like to attend. But we do need to make a decision in the next couple of weeks. So I will continue to bring this up on all the TSC calls until we do make a decision. So just mull it over and we can let Kendall know.
Yeah. It would be awesome to have some or all of you attend. It would be great. And Kendall definitely is a PTG wealth of knowledge as well.
I used to plan the PTG, so I could hopefully probably answer most of the questions.
Yeah, not a whole lot has changed. So she can probably answer your question. If not, I am on like the Kubernetes Slack, I'm on IRC. You can message me on Twitter or email me or whatever. Kendall can help you with that. So yeah, hope to see some or all of you there. Be awesome.
Thank you, Kendall.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything else people would like to bring up? We do have 9 minutes left.
I just wanted to say, up to logistics, for sure, we want to join and we want to bring everyone, but logistics needs to be resolved. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, I would like to know whether anybody in Magma community is working on OVS user space kind of work integration, because we feel that using OVS user space along with TPDK can give better performance, and that too IPsec kind of feature are coming in. I'm not sure how much kernel can give in performance point of view. If any of the company is working in OVS user space, I would like to collaborate and do some proof of concept with them. So please reach out to me in Slack.
Sure. Sure, Govind.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. If there's nothing else, then go ahead and give you 8 minutes back in your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay.
Thank you.
Have a good one.